Let's do this, my people. Alex Grant in the house. Let me know how the audio is there, Alex. You're the first one in. We have a few things. I pulled a few things for us to look at today. People talking about the industry crashing. I have this news story from the LA Times. Los Angeles continues to see decline in film and TV production, reports say. Let me click this fan off real quick here. If I can reach it. Oh, there's only 2 levels there. Okay, so we pulled this news story from the LA Times. What up, Gosha? Gosha's back. But the big one is, I wanted us to break this down. What up, Alex? The audio is crispy, big dog. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So this is what I pulled a while back, and this is what I wanted us to be our main topic for tonight of the evening. I hope you all are good. I hope you all had a good Easter Sunday. Hope the fam is good. Hope everybody is healthy. All the good stuff. Whatever you celebrate, I hope it's good. I had to save this, and this is really long. So this is a 2-parter, actually. This is just part 1. The other part is in here. And so this is the end here. But we'll start with part 1. I want us to focus on the nature at hand here. And we'll have some late bloomers in here. They'll just have to get caught up here. But this is a thing I've noticed lately. I don't know how things are going in your guys' area where you are. Now, I use lots of different outlets to find jobs. You guys can let me know the outlets you use. Production Hub is a good one. A lot of people talk crap on Production Hub, but I like to use Production Hub. But I also do the occasional Craigslist. That's how I find this crazy stuff. Another big one, of course, is Staff Me Up. I use Staff Me Up quite frequently. This is good for when we're traveling. I can search in here and look for any city. You know, let's say that I was in Nashville right now, so I could pull up Nashville and just see what kind of jobs they have there. I could put in an exact position, like a cinematographer position, and 0 results. So not a lot going on in Nashville for cinematographers right now. But as you can see, lots of stuff. Here's a camera operator gig. So this is just a prime example of why I like to use Staff Me Up. It's a little bit more cutthroat in terms of what jobs you can get. And then, of course, if you have an IMDb Pro, you can always look here on jobs as well. But as you'll notice, there's a little Staff Me Up logo on here. Let me blow this up real quick. I don't know if that makes it any easier. I can zoom in on it. But there you can see. So IMDb Pro, which is owned by Amazon, they linked up with Staff Me Up some time ago. So I don't even know if it's, you can't find too many jobs on IMDb Pro like you used to back in the day. But then, of course, there's always good old Craigslist. Oh, but also a good one to use too is just Facebook in general. So Facebook in general, if you join enough good groups, this is my top group I'm in, Skate or Die, obviously not one to find jobs, but definitely enough groups in here where you can find, daily postings, there's all kinds of them. Film casting and job board, Los Angeles and Vancouver, paid film TV production jobs, Los Angeles area. I'm looking over here on the left side of the screen here. These are all the groups I'm in. So I'm sure, look, Massachusetts film industry, that's when I joined last summer when we were traveling because we were in Rhode Island for a couple weeks. I was just interested to see, hey, what do they have for jobs here? So Facebook groups is always a great way just to see. But yeah, occasionally we always come back around to the good old list of Craig, right? We always come back around. What up, Nerdster? Alex says Production Hub has been decent for me in Wisconsin. Yeah, there you go. He gets gigs from Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois, which is nice. It's hit or miss. It's either super dry or 5 gigs come through in a span of 2 days sometimes. Yeah, Production Hub is pretty legit, honestly. If I bounce out, I get quite a few jobs from Production Hub, honestly. There's a lot of guys in my Patreon group that let me know on the Discord. We have our own Discord over there. Shameless low-key plug there. But some of the guys in my Discord, they don't really like Production Hub. They kind of think Production Hub and Staff Me Up are both like scams, but I don't know. I've gotten jobs through both Staff Me Up and Production Hub, so I kind of have like a decent idea of them. But I can understand why people would think these are scams, because they are kind of a subscription tier basis. And, you know, if you saw episode 1 of the new season of Black Mirror, it's kind of, you know, they kind of do a little satire on like this new like subscription tier model that everybody in the world is doing nowadays. And so I can see how that can be looked at as scammy, but Production Hub isn't that bad, honestly. Like maybe I pay $5 a month. The scammy part about it is you'll notice that if I zoom in on these, each of these jobs have a credit. Right? Like each job is 1 credit to submit to. So even though you only pay $5 a month, generally what you have to do is spend like $20 or $30 on top of that $5 a month to get like a certain amount of credits. And then you can use the credits to apply to the job. So, you know, that in itself is a little bit red flag, you know what I mean? And some jobs cost 3 credits. Like all of these only are 1 credit, you can see, but yeah, there have been some where I paid 3 credits to get into. So I think that in itself is a little bit scammy. And then the other side to that is Staff Me Up is more expensive, right? Staff Me Up, I believe, is like maybe 12. I don't know. I pay yearly for Staff Me Up, but I think it's like somewhere between 100 and 150 a year. Someone maybe can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but it's pretty pricey, an annual yearly subscription for Staff Me Up. And then they also have this weird thing where you can buy what they call like promotional credits or like promotional tickets. And like you can submit to any jobs you want because you're already paying for like the annual subscription. But then if you want to like quote unquote boost your resume, right, then you can pay for that. So there's also this new thing on the phones. Let me change my the screen here real quick. So there's a new app on the phones, right? And this is one I signed up for a while ago. And I'm really just talking about different places that I use for jobs, as I'm just waiting for more people to jump into the stream before we dive into this crazy Craigslist ad that I found, because I don't want to have to go back and reread it over and over. But I just wanted to pull this one up for you guys. So this is called Nova. You see that blue one there? The one right above DEHANCER, the big blue N? That's an app called Nova. And I was using this at first, right? This was really cool. Some people made this, and it was one of those kind of like, when it first came around, it was like very selective. Like you had to be invited into the app, almost like some weird celebrity dating app or something. But it was for anybody in the filmmaking industry, all different positions, and you could just apply. It's very, very, it's very saturated. It got very saturated very fast, even though it was invite only. But now they started this new, like, right here, now they have Nova Pro. They just rolled this out. So now they're doing the subscription tier thing too, which is a bummer because, you know, they're so brand new. I have yet to even book a job off this. And I've been on this app for at least, I know for definitely all this year. I don't know if I jumped on it back in 2024, but I know this entire year I've been on it, and I've never got a job from it. And I think it's just because of like, it's so overly saturated. And I know that because each job will tell you like, you know, it'll just pop up, right? And I know I'm in LA, so LA is oversaturated anyways, but I mean, it's crazy saturated. Like a job, I'll get the notification, I'll like attach my credits. What's cool about it is you can actually put your like reels on there, like little clips of each job that you've done. It's pretty rad, actually, the way they set up the app. But as soon as I submit, it'll be like, oh, 200 applicants already submitted. You're like, what the fuck, dude? So that's probably why they started doing the pro thing. But it's like, I don't know, man, maybe let some people book a few things before you want to like start selling them on like the next level up, you know. But that's like the point of the Black Mirror episode too. They're like, yeah, you know, if you don't want ads anymore, there's only one way to get that. It's just like real world, you know, you got to pay. It is crazy how the whole world is going like subscription tier status. It is funny that Craigslist seems to be the only one that hasn't really gone to that subscription level yet, and yet this one seems to have the most comical, funny, hilarious postings. So that's what really I wanted us to get into and talk about. because it's just so good, man. So let me see how we're doing over here now. Yeah, now we got some Jason Daily. Facebook Marketplace is usually what I use. What are you talking about? Oh, bro, do you know a good place to sell camera gear? I have IRND Nisi that I pay like $349 I never use. Yeah, Facebook Marketplace, 100% tacos meow. That's what Facebook Marketplace. I mean, it's the jam. I mean, if you want to see what those are going for here in LA, I mean, you're never going to get that. You're never going to get what you paid for it, unfortunately. So you could just do like Nisi IRND, and you can just see. I imagine it's a 4x5, right? Like it's a pro level IRND. So you know, I don't know. You could probably get like 60% of that 350 and see what you can do. But yeah, 100%. Jason's correct on that. I always use Facebook Marketplace to sell stuff. I will admit though, ever since we like moved out of Greater LA, it's gotten really slow for me because people like. Now they don't want to take the drive, you know, to like buy something. So it has kind of slowed down. But I also think it's just because the state of our market now. Funny enough, I pulled this ad for us too, guys. There was not an ad, I'm sorry, an article in the LA Times. So here you see it. This is from April 14th of this year. Los Angeles continues to see a decline in film and TV production. The news of decreasing film production in Los Angeles comes as lawmakers continue pushing for a revamped film and TV tax incentive program. Yeah, so I just thought we could dive into that a little bit after we look at this hilarious Craigslist thing. So this is what caught my eye here. I'm going to pop this open. I'm going to get caught up here on the chat real quick. Alex says, I pay the premium version of Production Hub, which gives you unlimited credits. Oh, here we go. Big dog Alex Grant. Paying for them unlimited credits. He says it's more expensive, but 1 gig basically pays for a year's subscription. 1 gig? What do you mean 1 gig basically pays for a year's subscription? Manny Gomez, what up, Manny? Alex, low-key, LinkedIn is dope for corporate gigs and building relationships with marketing folks. Alex, you are the second, maybe third person recently to mention that to me about LinkedIn. And yeah, that's wild to me. I have a LinkedIn. It's ages old. It's just covered in dust. I've never even really used it. But people have been telling me about that. And yeah, that makes sense. Corporate jobs, I could see that for sure, how corporate jobs would be up on LinkedIn. This thing is hilarious. You'll notice at the top of it, it says, looking for a video crew to write, film, direct, cast, act, and editing. They're looking for a crew. The rate is $2,200 to $2,500 total. They need you to do everything, the whole shebang. We are looking for someone that can hand us the video once it's done. So they want you to do literally everything. So, and it's really like, well, what do we need you for? We only have, we need their idea. Apparently we need their idea. It's so brilliant. We only have the idea in mind. Everything else must be delivered by you. So you actually don't have the idea. You have a thought. You have the beginning of an idea. Look at this. That means driving to the locations, filming, renting the vehicles, casting the actors, writing the script, editing the video. We just want the video done. If it turns successful, we will do more videos in the future. Oh my God. Is this normal for you guys, wherever you are? This was the first one for me where I literally saw something so bold. And yeah, hell yeah. I hope the person that wrote this is in the chat. I'd love to have some dialogue about this. Never seen where they need a video crew to do literally everything, down to the casting, down to getting the crew to the set. What was that? That means driving to the locations. Hilarious, man. Hilarious. 1 gig might mean doing one job can pay. Oh, right. That makes sense. Yeah. Good point, Tech with Eds. Yeah, that's true. 1 gig basically pays for your subscription. Damn, that's a heavy ass subscription. Unless, it depends. What kind of gig are we talking about here? If it, I don't know. I don't know what you charge per gig, Alex. So you'd have to clarify that to us, because that could mean a lot of different things. Everyone thinks acting is easy until they're on camera. Orange. Yeah. A bit random, or are you referring to this Craigslist ad? But that is true. Acting is an art. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge that. The whole problem that I've had for years, one of the reasons I quit acting is because I got tired of walking into the casting office and the casting directors asking me, wanting to see my Instagram, wanting to know how many followers I had and this and that. And I got really bothered by that as an artist that like took what I was doing seriously, I guess. And they really just wanted to see how many followers these people walking into their casting office had. And I just found that a really, really disappointing. And it was just time after time after time. Look, in the commercial world, even in the commercial world, I can try to make sense of it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like, nah, man, that's not where it's at. But you know, maybe that was a tad pretentious of me, because nowadays it's like, fuck, dude, like a lot of people are kind of a lot of true comedians, really, and musicians for that matter. A lot of talented people have been able to use TikTok to kind of catapult their career, and that's been really cool to see. So, you know, I guess I was wrong all along. However, back in my days, you know, so you know, the time I'm talking about would have been like 2015, right? So that was a time where Instagram was primarily just like straight up like the beginning of influencers, you know, where people were just like pretty people on camera, you know, like that whole beginning. And there's a great documentary about it called Jawline. I think that's the name of it, right? Jawline? That documentary we watched? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Jawline. That's a crazy documentary. If you want to watch a crazy documentary. Let's see. I bet ChatGPT came up with the idea for this ad. Yo, they might have. This is so crazy that he goes into the whole casting thing. Speaking of casting, our budget is $2,200, and that includes renting vehicles. So they also want you to rent the casting vans, like, you know, like the vans on set. Like, how much can you possibly, like, they only have 2,200 to maybe 2,500 over here on the side. They put 22 to 25. Then on the actual ad, it says our budget is 2,200. How, like, have these people ever done anything like to say that, like, oh, and that includes renting vehicles? Who the hell is renting vehicles? Your entire budget is only $2,200. Dude, you'll be lucky if that $2,200 covers the location, let alone the crew and the actors and the fucking food, dude. Like, people do not think about this shit at all. It's like, dude, do you do any research at all before you put this shit online? And I'm sorry if I'm offending people, but it's the reality of the situation. And what I love about this, they put their whole breakdown in the ad. First time I've seen this too. I mean, it's the first time I've seen people looking for a video crew to literally be their entire production company. Like, that's really what the ad should be. We need a production company. And we also need executive producers, apparently, because we only have $2,000. Great. I'm glad you like my posting. I forgot to add that you'll be doing all of the VFX as well. Yeah, no shit, dude. Wild advertisement. I had a conversation that sort of went this way. It turns out they had an idea and nothing else, including money. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's usually how it is. These guys too, they have no money. And you'll notice too that they're trying to make a commercial clearly for the California State Licensing Board, right? Because why else would they have them coming out of the nearest? This is very specific, right? So this isn't like some sort of like comedy sketch. This is very specific. They're coming out of the nearest CSLB, California State License Board testing building. The nearest one to LA is about 1.5 hours away, so you will have to drive a bit. Well, that mileage on that is going to be around $75, $80 per car per person. Like, it's like, dude, this is very, very specific. See, that's what grinds my gears even more, because these guys are working on this is commercial budget shit, you know? You're telling me the California State Licensing Board doesn't have money to make a commercial? Or did they hire these guys and these guys are trying to scam, you know, they actually got 25 grand and now they're trying to get some schmuck to go do it for 10%. You know, this is the shit that grinds my gears. But there's more to it. There's a whole nother second part to this ad. It was so long, I had to do a double screenshot here. So let me blow this one up. Oh, the script is still going. Dude, while you have been Webster baiting, I have been already flooded with leads. What is this? Look at this. Here it goes. Payment for this project. We are willing to pay 30% upfront. So this is where it gets even worse. 30% upfront, another 30% on the day of the shooting, and 40% at the end. Webster baiting is the word that needs to stick in this commercial. What? Webster baiting? If you believe that you have a vision for this project and that you will be able to hand us a completed product, please apply with ideas and why you are the one to lead this project. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. So this is the problem. Like, man, it's like, you see this stuff and you're like, dude, it's done. It's over. It's over. And then that's why we have a decline in film and TV production. Because the crazy thing is there is someone out there that did that. You know what I mean? Like there are, and I only say that because like I think of like when I first started shooting here in LA, like I didn't know anything, right? And I had I used to book jobs on Craigslist with the OG Pocket, the original, the little Super 16. I used to go book jobs with that and just had no real clue what I was even doing. I show up with like 2 lights and, and do it for like 200 a day, So I'm like, there's people out there that are doing that. The downside is like, people are always like, oh, you shouldn't do those jobs because, you're taking it away. For instance, like someone back then, like the now me would look at the younger me and go, hey man, you're making it worse for us. And there is truth to that. But there's also truth to the reality like, hey man, if someone's going to pay that low ass amount, then they can't expect to like have someone that's going to make the next friggin' Roger Deakins film. You know what I mean? Like you pay for what you get. Like that's the oldest cliche of time, but it's like so true. You pay for what you get. So, and plus, you got to learn. Like those jobs are for people that have to learn. So you have to go out and do it. But man, that one was new to me to see someone like want you to literally do everything. I mean, at that point, they put their whole like breakdown on the thing. Like if that was me and I had like just money laying around like that, I just didn't care, that I just like watch. I love to, let's pretend I'm the Joker and I love to watch money burn. Well, they put their whole breakdown online. I would just take it and I would just make it. Why would I even need them? Why would I even need them? They just gave me their idea. They told me they don't have any money. Well, if I have money to burn, well, now then I'll go make their own Webster bait video, and then, well, they'll have to meet me in court, I guess. It's not my fault they put their entire idea online, It's like, who would do that? Like, none of it makes sense. Make it make sense. You can't. None of it makes sense to me. But I just thought, it's just this is like a daily fun thing for me to do. There's just the Craigslist thing is really crazy. It's like, how did I used to survive on Craigslist? When I look at it nowadays, it's like, geez, man, like look at this guy, $60 to go and film. Now I get it. It's just a 1 hour class, but it's like still, man, $60. Like, what is, like, I think people have like severely underestimated just the reality of everything right now, but also just like the cost of living in Los Angeles. But again, I do blame it on like the cell phone craze. Like people know, and that brought me to this thing. Look at this ad: 2025 state of photography. More pros are using smartphones. And this is funny to me too, because someone, I got kind of offended recently because someone was like, well, for the type of photography you do, you should just be using your phone. And of course, I get pissed off or whatever. But it's also like, wait, now here's the thing. If you're someone like me, you could say that to someone and mean it in a bad way, right? Like, well, you just use your phone, But the reality is, here you see people are choosing to use their phones over whatever they're using nowadays, according to this article. So, it's when you see stuff like this, like the fact like these, so here's the statistics on the amount of that pros were using their phones for their camera on jobs, when you see this stuff, you're like, I guess you can't fault people for only wanting to pay you $60 to come film their show or something. You're like, damn, dude, like what is happening? It's a little concerning, I think. I don't know how things are going in the areas that you guys are in, but it is interesting, you know, and the phones just keep getting better and better. I for one, love a tangible item. I love a sensor that's bigger than this, you know, you know, little tiny baby sensors. It's crazy. What is this? It's crazy. What up, Orange? He says, you're that multi-talented, though. I did accept a gig once where I was on camera, early one, and I thought I could do it. I cannot. Yeah, it is hard for a lot of people to be on camera. I mean, you see that with a lot of YouTubers. Like, even with a lot of the big YouTubers, if you go back and look at their older videos, they're, like, super awkward on camera and shit. My problem is I'm too much of a showman. My problem is it's really hard for me to not be like hosty and shit, you know. Alex says it's $70 a month, which equals $840 a year. Most projects are $800 plus though, which will be enough to pay for it. Okay, so he's talking about Production Hub. Dude, it's $70 a month? But you know what? I guess that would be cheaper than what I've been doing, which is just buying the credits. But my thing is like something I've noticed, at least here in Los Angeles, is sometimes these jobs will be multi-posted across like all of the boards. Not all of them. Not all of them, but every now and then. So that's what kind of got me into this habit of like only buying a specific amount of credits. Because for instance, like if this one in Fresno, you know, as you'll see, like, oh, it costs a credit. But sometimes I could pop on over to Staff Me Up, and that same job would be listed on Staff Me Up. So it's like, I guess that's kind of why I got into the habit of that. But yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. If I'm paying $5 a month plus another $30 a month for the credits, that's still not $70 a month, though. I don't know. My way might be even cheaper because I never go through all 30 credits a month. I don't know. Maybe that's why I've never upgraded either, because I never needed more credits. He said, this Craigslist ad is crazy. You need to reach out to them and see where this is going. We're too deeply invested at this point. You know, the thing, it's an older one. So I don't even know. Let me see. Was the date on that? Where did it go now? Did I X out of it? Oh man, I lost it. Hold on. The thing is I screenshotted it because I specifically wanted to fucking, you know, talk about it somewhere online. So I saved it. And the thing is I don't know if the date's on here. Oh wait, the date's on this. It says, so yeah, they posted that on April 14th. Let's just see if it's still on here. Let's go back to April 14th. There it is. Look. Oh, no, that's a different one. Videographer needed for golf and fitness brand. I think they took it down. Oh, here it is. April 12th. April 12th. Yeah, it's still on here. Holy shit. Should I email them? Let's see. Email. Yeah, let's open this up. Yeah, I'll use my old email address. Did they put a name on there? Let's see if there's a name on here. I like to make it personal, you know? Let's see. Hi there. Hi there. Love the idea. Hi there. Love the idea. I don't know. What should I say? You guys got to help me out here. Now you got me on the hot seat. Being a filmmaker today, it's like making art in a factory while influencers twerk past you into studio deals, souls sold separately. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I can identify with both ways though, you know, because like I shot the chair for those guys and they blew up, man. Like they're huge on Instagram now, but they're hilarious. They're funny guys. And honestly, Curry, he just signed with UTA. So these guys are blowing up, but they're legitimately talented. Like the thing about Curry, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So I shot this thing called The Chair, and it's made by these kids. What's the name of their thing? What's it called? That's a bad idea. I think that's the name of their thing. That's a bad idea. They have tons and tons of followers online. And yeah, so this little movie right here, And Curry Barker was like the mastermind behind the whole thing. And he just signed with UTA. But the thing about, and yeah, he was on an episode of It's Always Sunny. He's a real actor. Here you see he was in an episode of Dave. But he, when I met him, he was a PA on This Is Us, or whatever that show is. And he was a commercial actor, you know. But it's just a prime example of someone that just, you know, he blew up all because of social media, you know. So when I see stuff like that, I'm, you know, someone that actually is a talented guy, it's like, damn. So I see it both ways, you know. Like there's two different ways of this social media thing where I think in the beginning, which again, you got to see Jawline. If you have not seen Jawline, I mean, this shit is crazy, dude. This is the weirdest documentary. This is so crazy. And you'll notice this is from 2019. And this is all about influencers when it was just kids dancing on camera. Just weird shit, right? And it's really weird. The whole thing is weird. And back then there was like a house. There was like an influencer house in here in LA, and they all these kids were living in this house, and they like had to make videos every day, and it's just the weird awkward videos of them dancing, and it's weird, right? But it was reality. Like that's how it used to be, the social media world. And nowadays, I don't know, man, it's really, I mean, it feels like, I mean, this stuff still exists, like this Jawline shit still exists, but there's also still like legit people like Curry and those guys that are using it as a way to like, hey, let's make our sketches and put them on here, rather than, you know, trying to, I don't know, go do ground lanes. Because, you know, everywhere in LA is a political system. And I did ground lanes too, you know, but like, it's like to get on the main stage at the ground lanes, like you have to be there for like a minimum of 10 years before you can even get to that main stage. So everything is politics here, you know. And I think like when you live here for a while and you're just grinding, it makes sense. Like you see so many of them hop on the TikTok thing, and a lot of them, it's working for them. You know, a lot of them, it's working for them. And when I see that, I go, hell yeah. Like I'm pumped for those people that are doing it for that. And so I think we're getting away from this like stigma of this Jawline stuff, right? Like, it's not so much about just being pretty and dancing on camera anymore. I think it is kind of shifting a little bit. So it has been interesting to see that. I don't know how we're getting down this rabbit hole right now. Keep that email short and sweet. Just type bet, I got you. It's genius. Where did it go? I lost it now. Here it is. Okay, so for those of you, if you just jumped on, there's this crazy Craigslist ad I was responding to. Love the idea. What'd he say? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's better. It's so simple. Bet. I got you. That's awesome. Yeah, hide my email. We don't want them. Oh, it won't let me do it. That's okay. I'll give him my old email. I don't care. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Hey, what do you think is the current hourly rate for a videographer in NYC or LA for brand content projects? The current hourly rate? Well, I could give you what I think. Is there other LA people here in the chat that can help out for the model point? Hourly rate is hard. I don't really go for hourly. Here's the thing. You're talking about branded content projects. So I actually have this thing that I keep for union, it's like union camera operator rates. It's basically the local 600. Let me see if I can find it, because it has all the rates, and you know, I use it. What I like about it is because it's broken down by budget. So if I can find it in here, if not, I can just airdrop it to myself real quick, because I know I keep it in my phone. Because I mean, I review it that often, and I try to update it every year. This might be last year's though. Honestly, I don't know if I got a new one, and I can't even remember where I got it from. But even if it's the old one, I don't think the rates would change that drastically. Let me just see. Damn, what did I do with it? I don't know. Either way, we can probably just find it ourselves. Let me just pull it up here. And let me see. So we can just search like local 600, local 600 rates. Yeah, there you go. Local 600 rate card. And then I think it would be, let me see if we can find it. Rate card, Western region rate card. Yeah. So you'll notice that they have everything in here, features, made for television. So this is non-commercial though. This is going to be for episodics and features and TV. The one that I go by is the commercial one. Oh, I also have one for ultra low budge, which is everything under 15 million. And then and what I like about it is it's broken up in tiers, like based upon per million. I'll pull that up so we can look at that too. But here you'll see like let me try to blow this up for you guys. So you'll notice that like the director of photography, per hour, $140. Per day is $1,200. Now, mind you, this is no gear, right? This is just them showing up. So what you're talking about, though, here's the thing with brand content. It's probably going to be more than this. You know, when you get into like the commercial world, in my opinion, and other people in the chat, feel free to chime in on this. But in my experience, like for branded stuff, corporate stuff, commercial stuff, the rates are going to be higher than dramatic. And when I say dramatic, I'm talking about, you know, film and television. So it's two different worlds. And in my experience, commercials always pay more, way more. And that's across the line with everybody involved, everyone involved. You know, you're doing commercial stuff, you're doing branded stuff. And it's because those corporations have the money to do that. You know, that's what you're expecting, you know, or that should be, you know, it should be, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but, you know, you'll definitely run into those brands that don't want to pay, you know, the going rates. And it's up to you to figure out how to negotiate that if you don't have an agent or something. But generally, you know, you look at these rates, and one might think these rates are, honestly, these are normal. And again, this is film and television, but you'll notice this camera operator, he's only getting $691 a day for schedule A. You know, it's like that, honestly, that's low for the commercial world, right? Like operators are going to make not a lot more than that, but usually on commercials, I know the operators are getting around $750 a day. So, but again, that might have been last year's rate card. So the commercial rate may have gone up to $800 a day for operators now. Now, mind you, I'm talking about, they're not DPs. They're not showing up with their camera. They're just walking in and they're operating the camera. You know, like, I've gotten to do that quite a bit. Just been operator. It's kind of my favorite job to do on set, honestly. Like, I absolutely love it. I love it because I don't have to have the responsibility of someone above the line, you know, and it's not stressful at all. And all I have to do is just operate the cameras. It's still fun. I still get to be around the cameras. You know, I get to like make jokes with the first AC all day, which we do. Like I've done it, you know, multiple jobs. I've gotten to be camera operator on way like super big jobs too, like Hulu shows and HBO shows and big commercials. And the job that I just did in Vegas was just me operating a camera. So I just love it. I love operating the camera. I think it's one of the best jobs on set to get. And you'll see, you know, the rates aren't bad. You know, you're making nearly $700 a day. I mean, all you're doing is like getting to shoot on, you know, a camera that you probably would never get to shoot on, you know. I don't know. I absolutely love that. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go by this, the model point, you could kind of go by this, but I would go a little more, you know, in my experience, you know, you're talking about branded content. In my experience, you know, operator, I've been paid around $750 a day to operate for branded stuff. Again, that's with no gear, you know. So, but again, it's like, what are you doing? You know, like, is it a startup? So if it's like a startup company, then you know, that's up to you to figure out, like, do you want to create and establish a relationship with this new startup? And maybe you could one day be the head of their entire, like, you know, video production category of their whole company. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's like, but, or is it like, you know, Petco or someone that's been around for ages and they just want you to shoot something? Well, you know, don't let them off. You know, that they got tons of money. You know, if you're talking like a huge corporation, they have tons of money. You know, you always want to make sure and shoot for the moon on those ones. But if it's someone like just doing some new small company, or like, you know, if it was me and there was like a skateboard shop that reached out to me, I mean, honestly, I would probably shoot it for free because I grew up skateboarding, you know? So for me, it would just be like, hey, maybe I'll just do it for trade, and maybe I'll just trade you for some gear or something, you know? I mean, hell, I got a trade going on right now with my local mechanic. He's doing a bunch of work on this conversion van we bought, and I'm just doing it in trade for video and photos and updating his website, you know? I mean, to me, that's more money than I would, you know, like, to me, that's more than doing it for cash, you know, because it's like, I don't know, there's something cool about that kind of old school bartering system. But I know you, like, you need to eat, you know, obviously I'm not, you know, so you don't want to do that with everyone. You know, like, you might find yourself in a pickle if you do that. But I just mean in terms of working with brands, you know, it's just so, you know, it's like the spectrum is so huge when you talk about that, you know. Justin, have you ever thought about going overseas to places like Europe? It seems production is dying in LA. A lot of nepotism here in LA. Sean, you're in LA, dude. Yeah, what area do you work in, Sean? What department? Like, what do you do? And I'm with you, man. The Nepo thing has that's like an ongoing argument in my head too. Like, I'm always calling people Nepo babies and stuff. But it is true, you know. But that's nothing new, you know. It's always been like that. It's always been about who you know. Most of the camera operating jobs I was just mentioning, I got those all from people I know. In fact, I think the majority of the work I do is I get a phone call from someone that knew me from somewhere else, you know. Usually that's how it goes. So, I mean, in a sense, isn't that kind of nepotism too, in a way? You know, you know, maybe like a little bit nepo, like, you know what I mean? Because it is kind of like, it is who you know. The entire industry has always been about that. I mean, there is a good reason for it, because it's like, yeah, you don't want to just work with just any Yahoo off the street, but also, you know, if you talk about true nepotism, well, then you're talking about just like, you know, well, my granddaddy was Michael Keaton or whatever, you know, and then it's like, okay. You know, I don't know. It's just one of those, I don't think Hollywood will ever be completely devoid of nepotism, you know. It's just the nature of the industry, you know. So, but yeah, I would love to go to Europe or something crazy like that. Hey, I'll be like that one guy and say, hey man, you cover my travel, per diem, and food, and I'll go anywhere and do anything. What up, Kochi? He says, I'm in a Zoom dilemma. Okay, here we go, guys. Tokina 25 to 75 or the Laowa Ranger 25 to 75. Let's see what he's working with. We'll leave these rate cards up. Let's see. He's working with, what is it, a new one? Did Tokina come out with a new one? 25 to 75, Tokina. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Those are nice. Or what's the other one? Laowa Ranger. Tokina. I would already go with the Tokina right off the bat. That's just me. What do they got? What is this one? A 25 to 75? What is this? 25 to 75, or is this, Tokina, I think it's this one. It's a 28 to 75. So you're working with this, or you're working with, where's the other one? Or you're working with this one. Yeah, 100% I would go with the Tokina. I'm not just because of the way they look, but I was just pulling these up for the stream, but no way, dude. I don't know. Tokina is I mean, guys, you know, I talked about this last week too. You know, it's like, well, let me see what he says. He says, one says solid reputation. Yeah. The other whispers, take a risk, be a legend. Which one should I marry and regret later? Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world. You know, I mean, they're not cheap. That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know how much of a legend you're going to be with this Laowa lens. But honestly, like T29, T29, I mean, it might be worth it just to have that little extra millimeter of coverage, you know, just get those extra 3 millimeters. You'd be surprised. I mean, I mean, I think about it all the time. The differences between a 24 and a 28. Like when you say them, 24, 28, and then, or you see them on paper, you're like, yeah, that's not that big of a difference. But man, in practicality, the jump from a 24 to a 28 is huge. Because you got to remember, the wider you go when it comes to focal length, like each millimeter is such a big difference. Versus on the long end, it's really not that, like, have you ever like tried to tell the difference between a 50 and a 55 mil? It's pretty difficult to do, but you can tell the difference between a 24 and a 28. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's huge differences on the wide end. So for me, beyond just like, yeah, way better reputation with a dare I say, more quote unquote industry standard brand with the Tokina, but beyond that, you're getting those extra 3 millimeters, you know? I mean, that might come in handy for you, especially if you get on a camera that's not full frame, you know? Which, wait, are these not full? Oh, this one is full frame. Wait, what's the deal with this? Why does it say cover Super 35 and larger sensors? Is it not like a true full frame? Why wouldn't it just say full frame? Why would it say that? Cover Super 35 plus coverage. Oh, this isn't even a full frame lens, dude. This is only a Super 35 plus. This is not a full frame lens. Well, you don't want that. Do they make a full frame one? That's horrible. Did you know that? I don't think this is full frame. Wait, what's Do Close say about it? Is it full frame? The Tokina in a compact package? Yeah, it's designed for Super 35. No, you don't want this. Dude, you can't invest that much money in a lens that's not full frame. Not nowadays. I mean, you could get the expander. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to get the expander kit? Well, now you're going to be dropping 7 Gs. Nah, no one's going to do that. It's no longer the season to be investing in Super 35 glass. Unless it's like the Zeiss Super Speeds or something, you know? Like, no, dude. Yeah, just get this. Just get this thing. If that's the two things you've come down to. That's just my opinion. Some other people in the chat might have a different opinion on that. Good evening, Pixel Miscreants. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Yeah, dude, you too, Gear Junkie. He said, would love to get working in film production in Kenosha, Wisconsin area. Dream is a content studio. Tokina is very nice for the money. Yeah, but not if it's not full frame. Yo, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Wow. What's going on out there? Let's see. Let's take a little Google Map trip of where he is here. Kenosha, Wisconsin. This is your land of liberty, huh? Jason? Let's see what's going on out there. Okay, you got a good water spot. The downside with a place like this is like, it's only cool like half the year, you know? It's like, what do you do when the snow comes? You just, some of you guys love it, don't you? You just love playing in the snow and building your snowmen and throwing snowballs at each other's heads. Building your snow caves. It's cool though. It looks like, what lake are you on here? Lake Michigan or something? Damn, boss, you started early. I did? I started early? I thought we start 7 p.m. every night. Trevor's high again, dude. Former Chicagoan, been moving away from Crazy Town for a while. Yeah. So this is your chill spot now, huh? Good old Kenosha. Yeah, there's the dreaded snow. Dear Lord. Production assistant, grip, camera assistant, production design, prosthetic makeup. I did some grip work for you on Shadow Marsh at Hobbs Grove. Oh, damn. Sean worked on Shadow Marsh. Let me see. I gotta see if I can find a picture of you, dude. Your avatar is too small. I can't recognize your face, man. Let's see, did I add you on Facebook or something? Sorry, guys. Yeah, I did. Oh yeah, let's see. I probably just don't. I only know. Yeah, dude. Oh, there's a shot from the movie. Speak of it. Hell yeah, dude. Man, that's an old throwback right there. Look at that. I'm on the easy rig with the Komodo. It was still white, so you know that was the beginning. Yeah, we shot that the same year I got the Komodo in 2020. Look, it was before I had the quick release for the easy rig, so I had the crazy Kong frog with it attached. That's hilarious, dude. Old school. Old school. There's Matt Festel. By the way, this dude holding the boom arm, he just won an Emmy. No joke, dude. For sound. He's a sound engineer. Yeah, dude. Cool, man. Yeah, dude. Cool, Sean. Yeah, man, my bad, dude. I'm not very good with names, man. Plus, I couldn't tell by your little... the avatar is too small on here. 10-minute drive and you're in farmland. Love that about the Kenosha area. Yeah, dude, I see that. Wow. Farmland. It is cool in the summertime. Nah, the first stream was like midnight my time. What? It was? So what you're saying is the Tokina's like bringing a butter knife to a lightsaber duel. Guess the Laowa's got that full frame force then. Yeah, dude. I don't know what you butter knife to a lightsaber duel. I don't know anything about that. But the yeah, I mean, what is the point, dude? I just can't see the point in investing in any... I just don't know why in this day and age, when everything is moving towards not just full frame, but open gate full frame, like why would you ever want to invest any amount of money into Super 35 glass? I just don't know. Someone convince me. It doesn't make sense to me. Are you checking on Tokina? They've been trying to crack the cinema puzzle for about 8 years at least. Yeah, well, the dude wanted, yeah, you missed that out. Yeah, dude, Tokina's legit though. Revar Cine, same company, man. I'm a big fan of Tokina. I've always been a pretty big fan of Tokina. Oh shit, Randall's in the house. The problem is people's expectations of film quality are so low now. They're so used to a bunch of hacks on YouTube. Hey, easy now, easy now. They're making it really bad videos and shorts on their phone, but no one expects anything. Yeah, you know what? I don't care anymore though. I just think all you need is the, you know, I'm going back to the roots, man. All you need is story, you know? I'm over this thing of like, you know, trying to, you know, I don't care anymore. Like, yeah, obviously we want to like make sure the cinematography is somewhat decent, right? But for the most part, man, I'm a little over it. I'm like, dude, I don't even care anymore, dude. We just need a good story. You know, just get a good story. Shoot that shit documentary style. Use your brain a little bit, you know. Just, you know. I mean, when I say that, I mean in terms of the lighting and composition, you know. I mean, you know, you got to be a little bit educated in it, but I mean, the story is really, you know, the story, and make sure we can hear that audio, bro. You know, considering where they started, Tokina isn't doing badly at all. No, not at all. No different here in Vancouver. Nobody wants to pay anything. I think freelancers and anyone really need to learn AI and VR to pivot into where the work will be in the future. Really? You think I need to learn AI and VR? You think I need to learn both of those things? Hell no, dude. I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to be like that Craigslist ad and you want to like be the entire production company, but why would someone that like me, like the majority of my jobs are just, like I was saying earlier, just camera operating jobs, you know, DP on smaller budgets. Why the F would I need to worry and like try to learn AI and VFX? Like, no, dude. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's fair, honestly. You know, that because there was a time when when people would get mad at you if you knew too much or if you were studying too much. You know, that used to be like an old thing. Like, you'd be like a master of none. You know, you just try to get good at everything, and then you're like, fuck, I'm not good at anything because I tried to put all my eggs in one basket. You know, like if you just focus on one thing and just try to like master that one thing for the next 20 years, I think you would have a much better final outcome than like trying to be like, well, man, I got to adapt to the times. Now I got to learn AI and VFX. And it's like, nah, dude, nah, I don't believe that. And maybe that's, you know, maybe that's revealing my age too much or something, but I don't know if I believe in that, man. I don't like the idea of any of that. You know, I really don't. And maybe like I get it. Like maybe if you're thinking in terms of like, yeah, you got to learn the AI for, you know, so you can work with an LED wall or the volume, you know, something like that. And well, yeah, that's obvious. You know, that's obvious stuff. But I mean, anything beyond that, I don't know, man. It would take a lot of convincing for me to, you know, want to learn a whole new I mean, VFX. Like, dude, I've never even opened up that panel of DaVinci Resolve. Like, I don't even go there, dude. Like, I'm not, you know, and it's probably to my detriment because, you know, I have a YouTube channel, you know, so like it would probably help me a lot if I learned that stuff. But for people that don't have to worry about having a YouTube channel and they're just like, you know, they're just pursuing camera operating or DP. No, dude, I wouldn't bother yourself with learning all that other crap. I don't know. But again, maybe that's, you know, maybe that's revealing my age. I don't know. That's how I feel about it, though. AI will be absolutely everywhere within 5 years. I mean, it's true, but I mean, don't we want to? We should. I think there will all, you know, much like all the film photography heads, you know, there will always be a space for like the raw, original, non-AI world. There was a A24 movie I saw recently that was like at the end, in like before the end credits started rolling, the first thing it said was there was no AI used in the making of this film. I can't remember what movie it was. It was definitely an A24 movie though. And I thought that was pretty cool, you know, like, but it's also kind of a bummer that, wow, we have to do that now, you know. I mean, they don't have to do that, but you know, it's come to that now where you have to let people know, like, you know, and it's the same thing. Every time I upload a YouTube video, I have to check a thing saying, did I use AI to make my videos or not? It's yeah, 100%. It's, yeah. I don't know. It's a bummer for someone like me. Chris Flores is in the house. Guys, the G.A.S Award of the Year goes to none other than Chris Flores. Give it up for him. Give him a big, huge round of applause, guys. Chris Flores is our G.A.S, afflicted with gas. I'm just joking with you, Chris. He says, I think I've seen videos of you talking about Zeiss lenses, looking for something with more of a look over my Sigmas. I'm bored of Sigma clean look. Well, Chris, you're not the first person that's ever muttered those words. I'll tell you that much. All right, let's see. Let's get in here and let's see. The problem with, so what are you working with? You want to, look, here's the thing. You would have, like, if you're looking at Zeiss, you would have to go Zeiss contacts. You would have to go Zeiss contacts because any other Zeisses are going to be more... they're going to be more accurate than the Sigmas. And I'm choosing to use the word accurate over the word clinical here. That's just my choice. But yeah, they're going to be insanely more crisp and sharp than the Sigmas ever dreamed of being. So you would have to go with the Zeiss contacts, which, I mean, honestly, if there's any set of lenses that I regret selling, it's probably my Zeiss contacts. Another reason I think it's cool to get these is that with through Simod, these are like the only ones that you can actually put a true aperture gear on. Do you guys remember my video? I had actual aperture gears on the lens. So I had the focus gear and the aperture gear. I was just like, man, I wish those are the lenses I regret selling. So yeah, if you're looking for something really badass, and something truly different than those Sigmas, I would go for, you know, build yourself a little set of contact Zeiss, Chris. That's what I would do. I mean, just beautiful lenses. And they have the 50, the 85, and the 35 are all 1.4. Get the quote unquote Hollywood, the 28 f2, or if you don't want that, you can get like a 24 or 25 2.8, and you're set, dude. Yeah. These are beautiful lenses. Here's the 25 2.8. Look, cheap too. $269.99, or you can make him an offer, Chris. Get that gas going, bro. Look at that. Beautiful lens, dude. 25 2.8. Yeah, these contact Zeiss are no joke. And just mod them all out. These are the only ones you can put true gears on yourself. You know? The other Zeiss lenses you can't even put gears on them. Not for the iris. I'm talking about the iris. Yo, so real talk, are we officially saying Super 35 is irrelevant now? Is full frame the new king of cinema? Just asking before I sell my Super 35 gear to fund a full frame lifestyle I absolutely can't afford. Look, dude, Koshi, don't get it twisted, man. I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong. Don't get it twisted, dude. Super 35, look, if that's the camera you have, if that's the system you have, then that's what you have, right? I'm not saying that, yeah, you need to go sell all that. You're like, you don't have to sell anything, right? Because that's what you already invested in. What I'm saying is in terms of glass, right? Because here's the thing. You've been shooting on Super 35, right? Did you choose to invest in Super 35 glass? Because I think that is a poor decision, in my opinion, right? Because when I was shooting on Micro Four Thirds, I had these lenses right here that we're looking at on Micro Four Thirds Pocket 4K sensor. So I've always been of the practice of investing in full frame lenses, regardless of what size sensor I had, right? Because I mean, and that's what we were talking about before in terms of, you know, talking about Tokina versus the Laowa. And it was primarily because one was the Laowa was full frame and the Tokina was only Super 35. And when you're talking about spending $3,000 is what each of those lenses cost, it's crazy of me to think that I'm going to invest $3,000 into a lens that doesn't cover full frame. Now, I'm talking lens. Why? Because we swap our camera bodies all the time. That's why they say, you know, you date your cameras, you marry your lenses. Someone even mentioned that in the chat earlier. I married the lens or whatever. So, you know, that's why I say, you know, if you invest in full frame glass, you can marry it a lot longer. You can use it. You can spread it out a lot longer. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, I do think the reality is that Super 35, the look of Super 35 has now become like a niche thing. Right? It really has, because now like everything is going open gate. Like, look at this crazy shit. This is another huge popular trend. Have you guys seen this one? They're all doing this. I took 35mm film photos with an anamorphic lens. Was it worth it? And a lot of the film photography YouTube channels that I follow, they've even started doing videos just like this guy shooting anamorphic lenses on the thing. Now, look, we know the real reason why this is happening, because these companies are sending them to every YouTube content creator known to man, right? So that's the real reason why more film guys are shooting anamorphic lenses. Let's just be a little honest with ourselves, right? Because it's always Laowa and these companies that are putting it in the people's hands. So that alone is pushing the trend. But I just bring that up because it's like, no, man, this is where we're at now. You know, like everything is open gate. Like, when's the last time you heard someone talk about their next dream camera and they didn't bring up the phrase open gate? You know, never. You know, so it's just, it is a little bit a thing of the future, you know, but that's not to say that you can't use your, you know, that's not to say that you got to run out and sell all your Super 35 gear right now. No, I mean, if that's what you're working with, that's what you're working with. You know, the reality is most people that hire you, most of them aren't even going to ask or know or care, you know, so I don't think that, you know, I don't think there's any reason to feel like you got to go sell everything. Okay, we got way backed up on that one there. We haven't even begun to set the real implications of AI in this space. People are really just starting to understand how to use it. People don't cancel billion-dollar studio plans on a whim. I guarantee every editing and grading tool you use will be full of AI in a few years. Well, yeah, I mean, the newest rollout of Resolve is already, you know, the one they announced at NAB. It's got some, it's got some crazy AI features. Look, I'm all for the automatic AI stuff. In terms of, like, I love the noise cancellation. I absolutely love the noise. I mean, even OBS right now, I have noise cancellation engaged on OBS. So even right now, the streaming software is using AI, you know? Yeah, I take full advantage of that, 100%. But that's like auto AI stuff, you know? In terms of, like, using AI to create my content for me in the terms of, like, you know, like truly creating it, and the whole production is now AI. That's something I'm not a fan of. You know, I don't. You know, I hesitate to use the AI for visuals. You know, that's what I was talking about. I mean, unless, you know, obviously, again, like I said, I'm well aware. I mean, I've worked on LED walls. You should see some of the cheap ass LED wall studios we have here in LA. They're laughable. But yeah, they're blowing up. They're everywhere. I'm just thinking how cheaper it will be to build a VR set rather than old school studio, and AI chicks are looking pretty hot. Okay. All right, Jason. Yo, what up, John Hale the third in the house. Sidebar, I got that Laowa combo just because they are full frame. 100%, dude. Trevor says he's a fan of the Carl Zeiss Jena. If you want to go down that rabbit hole too, they make beautiful images. For contemporary stuff, I prefer Zeiss Milvis. What up, John 2000? John, the legend, is in the house. What is up, John? Everyone is doing good. He's asking how everyone's doing. John, how was your Easter, brother? Yeah, Trevor, I know, dude. I know what you're saying, bro. The Zeiss. You know, my thing about the Zeiss Jena is that they're the screw mount. Okay, shout out to my one of my favorite local cinematographers here in LA, the King, John Schweigart. We were doing a lens test. I was doing a lens test with him. Maybe you guys remember it. It was when we were what were we testing? I don't even remember. But he had the Arri Alexa Classic, and I went in there with the Komodo, and he had a full new set of modded Zeiss Jenas, and the focus motor spun it and unscrewed it directly out of the mount, and it popped right out of the mount because they're screw mount. So that was kind of the thing that was like, ooh, you know, and it did it a couple times. Like it kept like flipping it out of the mount. You know, that wasn't too cool. So I guess if like you were really in love with them, you would have to pay to get them like PL mount converted and all of that, and something like what we were looking at last week or whenever, like a true rehouse. That's why I kind of always steered away from the Jenas. They have Rolly Zeiss QBM lenses too if you're going for a vintage look. Yeah, but those aren't those LTM mount too? I think the Rolly Zeiss are weird mount though too, aren't they? You got to be careful. Some of them have a weird mount. Oh, but no, that's right. They're all different brands, different. Man, Rolly lens is wild though. That would be kind of cool. That would be fun to experiment with. Rolly, they're a cool brand. Yeah, I've never tested any of those. I've been shooting with the Mamiya 645. Yeah, Jared with the Mamiyas, adapted with the Kaipon. Okay, on my R5 Mark II. To get this close to a medium format look on a modern camera has been awesome. Mamiya 4528. Yeah, you know, shout out to Miggy Vision. Miggy is one of my guys out here. He's a cinematographer out here in LA, and he's been doing that for a long time. He's been using the Mamiya glass on like the original Lumix, whatever the original Lumix camera was. Like he's got like the Mark I, the Lumix S or whatever it is, and yeah, he does some awesome stuff. Have you worked with Unreal Engine virtual production? I worked on a shoot with the Fackrell brothers. Yeah, dude. Shout out the Fackrell brothers, man. At the Standard Vision Studios in Glendale. Amazing working in the volume. Dude, what a small world. So, chat, I worked with Sean. If you just showed up, I worked with Sean on Shadow Marsh. And then he worked with the Fackrell brothers. Way back in my acting days, they cast me in a commercial with them. And then a couple years later, I met my now wife, and she grew up with the Fackrell brothers. It's just so funny, such a small world. And now Sean worked with them. Yeah, they make amazing commercials, though. I personally, no, the LED walls that I've worked on are very tiny, laughable, small LED walls, because, you know, every little tiny hole in the wall studio here in LA is like trying to figure out ways to add LED walls to their studio, and they're doing it. So no, I haven't been able to mess around with the real Unreal Engine, unfortunately. Chris says he's gassy AF. Yeah, we know, dude. Every week he's in here talking about different gear. Can the Contax lenses be used on corporate commercial work? I've got Russian lenses, but they tend to be used on specific projects. Looking for something to add to my footage. Yeah, I mean, I did, but it was they wanted, I did this series of commercials for Telecoach. We looked at it last week, but they wanted it, you know what they told me in the treatment? This is why that I didn't mind using them. And it's also why we lit it kind of flat, to be honest. But it was because they told me, no, I got to go to my old site. They told me that they wanted it to look like remember the old Dollar Shave Club commercials? So that's what they wanted it to look like. Let me see. I think it's in here. I can show you grabs. Yeah, this stuff right here. So this is the red Komodo and the Tokina. Sorry, not Tokina. Zeiss contacts with the red Komodo, and you just see the way it looks. You know, it's this kind of I was trying to do like the Dollar Shave Club. So if you don't know what that is, it's even worse looking. It just, you know, it looks like they shot it on it's like, yeah, here it is. So you see, pretty similar to this vibe, you know. I mean, you can see why, you know, if you look at that screen grab right there, and then you look at my stuff, you know, yeah, I was trying to rip it off a little bit. I mean, we all were, you know. I mean, they even got them in the same wardrobe, you know. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, maybe if you're doing something super corporate and commercially, you probably wouldn't be able to get away with the Zeiss contacts. So yeah, I don't know. You know, that's why I used to always say, like, yeah, you need a set of vintage and you need a set of modern, and that does make a little bit of sense, I guess. But I've gotten a little bit away from that now that I've been using the Nisis. And look, you know, they're not like a sponsor of the channel or anything. But I did get the lenses for free, right? So, you know, I don't, maybe, but the thing is like, I would have, I mean, you guys know me, like I wouldn't work with a specific company if I wasn't like already a fan of what they do. So yeah, we went and did that little thing with them, and then they gifted me the lenses at the end. So it might, you know, like my kind of, here's the thing, like I don't know if I would have ever started using them had they not given them to me, is what I'm trying to say, right? But like at the same time, if I didn't like the lenses, they would be sold, right? I would have sold them a long time ago. I still have the Nisis, to the point now where I'm thinking about selling my Leica Rs. And that was the whole point of me making my filter video that I did, that honestly, you know, like not a lot of people watched, which is fine. You know, I mean, I got fairly small numbers and stuff, and I'm not the greatest at like making flashy thumbnails and stuff. But if you haven't seen this filter video, I'll show you the one I'm talking about. It's this one right here, filters. So you guys know, back in the back when I first started doing YouTube, I used to make filter videos all the time. Like I was obsessed with filters. So then 2 months ago, I put out this video, a comprehensive guide on camera filters, Hollywood's secret ingredient, my new latest filters buying guide. And I really mainly wanted to do this test because I wanted to show, how I could make the Nisis, or how anyone can make the Nisis look a little bit vintagey if you just use the right filtration on them, you know. And that was kind of my whole point of doing this video. Are your vintage lenses better than these cheap cine lenses? And that's a straight shoot down between the Leica Rs and the Nisis. So if you haven't seen those, you know, and so that's why I say, like, I don't know, with nowadays with like these ultra affordable cine lenses that we have, I don't know if you necessarily need both a vintage option and a modern option. Unless you just have the money to blow like that, then good on you, you know, then it would make sense. But if you're someone like me, I have a bit of a problem with gear that sits, right? So right, I have the Leica Rs, and then they gifted me the Nisi Athenas. Well, now since I've had those Athenas, I've been using filters on them when I need to change the look of them. Otherwise, they're just like, they're so optically modern, you know. I could go do something super corporate with them if needed to be, you know. So that's why I say, and I'm sitting here going, well, damn, all my last, like, I don't know, literally ever since I got those Nisi lenses, I have not shot anything on the Leica Rs. So that's where now I have listed them all for sale, because I'm like, I don't know if I need these. And there is that little bit of like the collector nerdy geek inside of me that's like, hey man, those are Leica lenses, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, nah, who cares? They're Leica lenses, you know. It's like, and me being someone that shoots Leica M glass, I'm like, the Leica Rs aren't even the best Leica glass to have anyways. Like, you know, if you want the true Leica look, you get the Leica M glass. So then I'm like, you know, that's where I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't need these Leica R lenses anymore, you know, like, and so that's kind of, but again, like maybe you like having like true vintage lenses for those truly unique projects, then I get it. And those will get you way further than just slapping a filter on the lens. That's for damn sure, you know. So I understand both sides of the argument, you know. But I just don't know. I don't know if it's worth it nowadays to invest in both. But I do think the Contact Zeiss are like the perfect middle ground, right? Because Zeiss have always been kind of like known for making the most accurate performing lenses, you know? So even back to the Contacts, they're still just immaculate, you know, even if you get old ones. I mean, as long as it's not full of scratches and haze, I mean, it's going to be performing really nicely and still have something beautifully organic about it because it was from the film days, you know? I think the Contact Zeiss are much sharper than any other vintage lenses out there, that's for sure. You know, compared to like the Leicas or the FDs or anything like that. I mean, the what are the other ones that everyone's super the OMs, the Olympus, like the Contact Zeiss are sharper than all of them in my opinion. So if you were wanting to go like just have one set, then maybe the vintage Contact Zeiss would be like that one set if you weren't like married to this idea of just using filters on modern cheap lenses, you know. Kaipon is 0.7 on a full frame sensor, just to clarify. Wider field of view than Fuji medium format when adapted onto a full frame camera. Right, I got you. Those lenses are shit for photography. I'm an anamorphic head, but I came from photography. I can't imagine creating photo images with wonky-ass lenses. Yeah, and they're doing it on film cameras. You can see he's using a Voigtlander Bessa here, so it's just crazy, man. Yeah, anamorphic photography, that's a real thing, 100%. That Leica R Minolta and Zeiss Milvis video. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one, Jonathan Wu. That's right, that's the video that I did with Schweigart. I guess I mean a middle ground between Sigma's clinical and Russian lenses, something that can be corporate but look different from other corporate clinical work. LOL. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, I think I kind of just answered that for you, Chris. Trevor says he watched a lot of your early filter videos. I'm pretty sure that's what got me into using the Black Mist Pro Mist. Yeah, dude, there's so many good filters out there. I think the latest one right now on the job I just got off of, I was using a lot of Tiffin's satin filters. The satin filters are really nice. I used those, and I used Radiant Soft filter, and I think I used a smoke filter once because I didn't want to fuck with the hazer, so we just used the smoke filter. That filter video is useful, seeing how blacks turn green with the wrong IR cut filter. Yeah, that's an old one. The filter video Justin made is a huge resource. Thank you, John. Jesse Cook says, I hate gear that sits too, so much so that I just bought a used Zcam M4 on eBay just to pair with the Blackmagic Video Assist that was collecting dust for over a year. Holy cannoli. So rather than this, dude, you're hilarious. So he doesn't like gear to sit and collect dust. So rather than selling the Video Assist, he spends more money to find a camera that will go with the item that's been collecting dust. That's a classic gas head, dude. That's hilarious, bro. That's so funny. Zcam M4. Let's see what you bought. You bought one of these. Yeah, people love these things. That's a funny story, though. You still rocking the Komodo? Pat, Leo Films. No, my dude. Where have you been, bro? I sold the Komodo last March. Over a year ago, I sold the Komodo. Is Zcam still around? You can get one for about $3,800. Look, you can get this one for $649. Damn, John. I told you guys, John's a legend, bro. He said, well, I turned 74 the other day. Wow, happy birthday, John. But I am still walking, talking, remembering half of my photo, video stuff, and still able to try and give back. Where's some of your latest work at? I need to some for memory's sake. Yeah, dude, just check out the YouTube channel or go to justinfilm.com. There's tons of original content over there at justinfilm.com, John. And there's also always the Patreon, guys. The Patreon is another great way to not only obviously support the show, but the Patreon is where I kind of well, every week I put out a weekly video over there at patreon.com/JustinPhillip, and it's I don't know, it's very unhinged, I guess is what I would say. Have you used split diopter lenses? Yeah, dude, I love split diopter lenses. I think did we use it on Shadow March? No, I don't think we used it on Shadow March. I used it on a crazy music video I shot. That's the last time I used it. And you know what? I used it on the Minolta 21mm. Minolta 21 mil with a split diopter. It was cool. And it was really just so I had the singer like that close to the camera. And then like the other person was way in the back and on a 21. And it was really rad looking to see them both like, and it was really just for more that minimum focus. It was cool. Over the years, I've spent quite a lot on lenses, but ironically, my favorite one is a cheap Soviet projection attachment. Oh man, yeah, he's old school. He's old school. Yeah, Zcam is releasing a Mark II of their camera line soonish, it seems. The Zcam is not my A cam, but it's something I use for lower end shoots. Yeah, they got a new version coming out, huh? Let's see if we can find something about it. Let's see. Zcam Mark II. Look at that. It's already in the can. Talking about this thing? No. E2 Mark II? No, these are already out, right? You're not talking about this stuff, are you? I don't know anything about these cameras. Look, they make a 4/3 inch. Weird. People are buying that? I have an issue, Jesse says. Yeah, gas. I just saw your Stormtrooper unboxing video pop up in my feed earlier. That's old, man. That's old school. Someone I follow just made a video saying the FX3 is still a boss camera even with the stuff coming out. It's beast mode, man. It's beast mode. No, yeah, I mean 100%. Look, look, I get it. Like, where is my too many tabs? Too many tabs. Too much anxiety. Let's see. Let me go to B&H real quick. So yeah, let's just see like what's going on with the FX3 nowadays. 3898. Bruh, come on, man. 3898 still? Wait, I didn't want to open up separate. Hold on, guys. I'm still new learning the internet here. Just give me a second here. Let's see. FX6. Yeah, 6Gs. 6Gs versus where'd the other one go? 3898. See, man, I don't know. To me, it's worth it just to get the FX6. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's just me, man. I mean, honestly, like, this is cool and all, but I mean, why don't you just get the A7S3? And you could save some money. Not much, though, huh? Wow, it's not that much cheaper. Weird. Yeah, I thought it was going to be at least $1,000 cheaper, but it's not, is it? Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I do. I think it's worth it just to have the... I mean, honestly, you have so much more with the FX6. But I see what they're saying. I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it. But honestly, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess they're kind of right. I guess they're kind of right. I guess. We'll just let them have it. I almost got a Z-Cam, but then the Komodo X came out. Yeah, what's a good deal on FX6? Well, let me find... Let's see. I love to get... This is kind of what I like to do here. I like to just see... I mean, look at this one. 3,400. I think this is fake, though. I don't know. Here's another one for 3,500. Very, very good condition. I like it when they put two varies in there. Gary O'Derry. Gary O'Derry. He's got one in very, very good condition for 3,500. Man, that is cheap. He doesn't say how many hours it has, though. I would definitely want to find out the hour count. Because I would think for a price that low, I mean, I would imagine there are a ton of hours on that thing, if it's even real. But look at this one, 3,400. Selling my Sony FX6, purchase new with only 136 hours. Wow. Now, this looks legit, because look, he took the picture, but sometimes they steal the pictures too. Martyrs Gorman. Lives in Calabasas. Might be real. Calabasas got that money. That's probably real. Let's see what this one is. 3,900 for this one right here. Look at... Oh, yeah. We looked at this one before. Yeah. It's cheap. Cheap. Going for cheap, bro. Justin's still learning to use computers. I know. That Minolta 21mm is the MD version you suggest in your old video, right? That's hard to find. Nah, dude. I had the MC version. And I paid Steve's camera $450 to CLA it. And they took out that sponge piece that goes all bad in there. They took that out. And yeah, I had the MCX version, but I sold it, and I just recently sold it too. I just sold it last summer, and the main reason why I ended up getting rid of it is because the color is so different in that lens. Like, it's different than any other lenses I have. It's like a very like honestly, I just realized this. Like, I was gonna say the skin tones look green, but that probably isn't what they were because it's hard for me to see skin tones. But a lot of the times when my eyes see green in the skin tones, it actually means it's red, and vice versa. So I have a really hard time with the green red skin tones things. But to my eyeballs, that Minolta 21 just looks so green, which could have been flipped. It could have been maybe magenta. It could have been leaning magenta in my head, just made it look green. But either way, that's why I got rid of it, because it was just so gnarly. It was impossible to match it with like any other lenses I had. It could have just been that copy, but Minolta's pretty good about their coatings. So it made me a little concerned that I was like, damn, am I wrong about everything? Or another thing that is very true, during the CLA, the optics could have, like, some of those coatings could have been, you know, something could have happened during the cleaning of it. And that, you know, the sad part is you got a CLA, but sometimes, you know, if those coatings are extra delicate, maybe a little bit, maybe something just got wiped off there and it's like, oh damn, now it's different looking. I don't know. I hate to say that though, because Steve's camera is like the GOAT for like CLA and stuff. So who knows? It could have just been a bad puppy out of the litter. You know, you never know. But I ended up losing a lot of money on that lens though, because I mean, you know, you figure, you know, I paid whatever I paid for it, and then on top of that I paid $450 for the CLA. You know, no one's gonna, I couldn't get anyone to pay me $1,500 for a Minolta lens, you know, so I ended up losing. That normally doesn't happen for me when I'm selling lenses. I normally don't lose money on selling lenses, but that was the one time where I took a hit. What is the best way to build a rig for your mirrorless camera? He's got a Nikon Z8 to quickly switch between a tripod setup to a gimbal. I use Cine Prime's matte box, external monitor, DJI LiDAR Focus Pro, but it's a pain to reconfigure the rig for mounting on a gimbal. That's a lot of stuff on a gimbal, dude. I don't use a full matte box when I go on gimbal. So I have the Bright Tangerine. I have both Bright Tangerine kits. So I have the full Misfit kit, right? So I'll show you. And this is why I have both. So I have this one, this little atom right here. This is what I use when I'm doing gimbal or when I want to go really, really lightweight handheld. And when I go on the gimbal, what I love about this thing is I can take this rubber piece off. And now it's literally just a tray that holds 2 filters in it, right? And that's what I use specifically for gimbal. And then you don't have to worry about not even this rubber thing, even though you could probably leave the rubber thing on, but I just ditched that too. But I mean, if you were worried about flares or whatever, yeah, you could leave it on. But it really doesn't, I mean, I guess it might help a little bit with flares, but it just depends on what lens you're using. But I generally just take it off. That's what I do when I go on gimbal. But I mean, and then if I'm doing a real thing, I also have this. So I have both, just because I like to have both, you know. Plus I've had them for years, but that's the first thing I would suggest when, you know, get a little bit better. And maybe that's what you're already doing. Maybe you have a system like this where it's just literally just holding the trays, like holding the filter on. But other than that, you know, building it is rough. Like, what do you got? You got the Nikon Z8. It is harder when you have like these mirrorless bodies. Yeah, and it's kind of tall. It sits kind of tall. And it's got the viewfinder. You know, I would just do the standard. I mean, chat, let them know what you would do. Give them some suggestions. But you know, I would go the standard. Put the cage on. You know, I mean, the downside is like if you're going to gimbal a lot, you got to keep this thing like as small as possible. You know, because the downside is. And this is why, you know, I get into it with most people when I'm on jobs with them, because I'm like, look, if we're going to do gimbal stuff, we need to schedule all the gimbal stuff at the beginning or the end for each location, you know, because it takes so much to like, it's basically a whole new build, you know. I mean, I haven't seen anyone be able to like, I mean, unless you just literally have everything on the rails. If you just have everything on the rails, and then your camera itself is just attached with like some sort of Arca Swiss quick release thing, right? To where, but you'd have to have everything else on the rails. So then all you'd have to do is unplug all your cables and just pop it off the Arca Swiss and then go throw it on the gimbal. That's the only way you could do it. Otherwise, you really do have to kind of make a whole new build for the gimbal or vice versa, you know? So it is a little hard, and that's why I've always done that. I'm like, look, you know, because it either has to be at the top of the shoot or the end of the shoot, and it is kind of a bit of a bummer sometimes because, you know, you could be in one location where there's actually multiple locations within one, and it's like, and the lighting setups are so different to where you're like, damn, we're gonna have to build the gimbal twice today or something, and it adds a lot of time. And then it's like, then you gotta let them know in the scheduling, you know, like, hey, we're gonna need an hour to you know, we need to add that hour because I gotta swap to gimbal twice, you know, or whatever the case is, you know. And I like to give myself an ample amount of time to do that switch, because it takes time, you know, and people, and again, that's something like, you know, if you're working with a little bit of inexperienced people, they're not going to know that, you know, because they're used to like shooting their stuff like this or like this, you know. So it is just something you have to negotiate and schedule. I mean, I haven't even figured out how to be able to go from tripod to gimbal without having to do some sort of makeover, you know. But maybe some other people in the chat have figured it out. Is Jerry O'Dairy real? That sounds like a scam name. Yeah, Jerry O'Dairy, dude, he's cool, man. I mean, look, you know, he lives in Calabasas, you know, check him out. He's a young father, you know. Oh man, there's some characters in Calabasas, bro, you know that. I always check to see where they list the listing and where they actually live. It's telling if it's a scam. Oh, 100%. But they figured that out nowadays. Jonathan Wu says he's got a 20mm MD. The focus ring turns harder than the aperture ring, and it has zero ability to take a filter. At f8, you can see the black ring. Yeah. Well, you could try getting like a B&W super thin. So B&W has a super thin filter they make, and I've used these quite a lot. So if you know what I'm talking about, B&W thin, I don't know, you could just type in like thin filter or something. And they make them, they're like super thin filters and very high quality, as you can tell. I mean, they're like not exactly cheap compared to Amazon prices, but it's B&W, you know, they're like world renowned. But yeah, regarding the other issues, Jonathan, I mean, that thing needs a CLA, you know, so you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to shell out some bucks to have it CLA'd, you know. Unfortunately, CLAs are not cheap. Some of those guys, yeah, I know, but I know they can be aggressive with the CLAs, but when it comes to Steve's camera, I'd like to think that it wasn't that, you know, I think it probably just had a bad copy. He says he's got the green-red color problem too. Makes us think about lighting and color temps. Well, yeah, that's why I had to buy a color meter 5 years ago or whenever it was. Yo, Josh Satin in the house. What up, man? Happy Easter, Josh Satin. Guys, you know Josh Satin? I'm sure you guys know who Josh Satin is. He's in the house, folks. That's amazing, dude. I haven't tried this yet, but rather than a gimbal, use gyro flow with your camera's gyro data, or put a GoPro or Action 2 with gyro data to sync in gyro flow to get smoother footage. Yeah, I mean, are you seriously thinking about using a GoPro or an Action 2 to cut with your other footage of your Nikon camera? Are you sure that's something you want to do? I mean, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of the dynamic range of those cameras, or the, you know, just the image quality in general. I think that's I don't know if that's the route I would go. You know, you could do what I did, and that's one of the reasons why I started taking the A7C II onto the jobs with me, because I'm like, I just always bring it with me. I'm like, if they need a gimbal camera, we can throw that A7C II on in no time. And I can do 10-bit log, so we're good, you know, and then it's fine. It's like, that's the gimbal camera, whatever. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I've done the past few times now. Because I don't know if there is a way to totally deconstruct it, you know, without losing time. Lexer Swift says, can I combine a VND and a CPL? Literally no clue. They're already combined, bruh. They're already combined. So the VND is already 2 polarizers combined. So you don't need to fuck with the CPL because you already got it. One thing, what you could do, something that I did. So this is what I did. You can get this thing called the Revar Cine. What is it called, bro? It's, well, you know what? It's better to explain it this, because I have the Revar Cine glass, but I use the Bright Tangerine 1 tray. Okay, so this is what I do. I have this. I don't have to do this anymore because ever since I bought the FX6 last year. But in my Komodo days, this is what I would do. I had this tray, right? And then you buy the huge circular polarizer. It's 138 millimeters, right? It's not cheap, right? So you get in here and you go 138 millimeter circular pola. There it is. So you buy one of these, right? The Revar Cine is the one I have. But I get the one with the I don't get the unmounted one. I get the one with the frame because it doesn't matter, right? You get that, but you'll notice these aren't cheap. That's $379, right? So you're probably gonna find it cheap. You're gonna have to look on eBay or something, right? So then that goes in the middle, and then all you do is once you have that, then I got a thin polarizer, a linear polarizer, right? So you get a thin linear polarizer. All right. Oh no. Oh boy, here we go. 4x5 thin linear polarizer. I know it's got to be in here somewhere. Yeah, right here. But see, the problem is this is the fatty. They do make thin ones. And when I say thin, they're only 2 millimeter, right? So you can get the super thin linear polarizer, right? And then you put that in front of the 138 circular one, right? So now you've created a variable ND. Now, to take it a step further, and this is why I say get the thin one, get the 2 millimeter, because now what you'll do is you will get the Firecrest 0.3 IRND slim, super slim, whatever they are, right here. This is all you need right here. And it's IRND, and you get the, oh, no, you got to get the 1 stop. Oh, no, you get the 2 stop. You get the 2 stop. But either way, you just want it for the IR, the IRND, right? And that's what you do. You put the 1 stop IRND in the front, and that's why you get them both 2 millimeter, because this thing can only hold 1 circular filter and one rectangular filter. But if you get the thin ones, you can fit 3 filters in there, and then that's how I would have 1 huge variable IRND for my red Komodo. But man, yeah, it's a lot of glass in front of the sensor, right? And then it gets even worse if you start adding diffusion to it. It's like, oh my god, dude. Yeah, just another reason why I love having the freaking the FX6, man. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I mean, that's a way you could do it, bro. But yeah, in terms of thinking, can you combine them? Yeah, that is what a variable ND is. It is 2 polarizers. Yeah, who's Josh Satin? Gyro data, does that stuff really work? And isn't there like a 1.5 to 2? Yeah, there's always a crop. And you know, that's how it works. It works like in my like blue collar brain. The gyro data works the same way how warp stabilizer works. You know, it just kind of zooms in on it and changes shit around. I mean, that's what I've noticed when I've tried to use it. Anyways, I'm like, oh, this is like warp stabilizer for a different kind of stabilizer, you know. Yeah, and our 2 polarizers, that's, yeah, nasty X pattern, 100%. That's where you get X pattern. But this way, you don't get X pattern the DIY way that I built it. This shit's badass, bro. But you can spend a lot of money on that. He says, technically, oh, wait. Not to cut footage. Gyroflow uses that GoPro's footage to sync your other camera's footage. Yeah, Jason, that's beyond me, dude. That's some other... That's beyond my scope of my brain. I'm very old school. 100%. I have seen some videos talk about that, but I have no experience with that whatsoever. Not at all. He says, yeah, technically, yeah, I know it's combined, but does that mean I have to unthread it in a particular way to get the same way? I don't follow you, brother. Let's see. I think Jason means using gyro data from GoPro to... Yeah. I've never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never used it. I don't have any experience with it. So if someone else in the chat does, let them know your experiences on it. Yeah, he has his Raptor and an FX3 or A7 IV as a gimbal cam, 100%. Yeah, dude, the struggle seems real. I think better to rent or get a B cam with a gimbal built. Ronin 4D 6K 8K might be a right tool for gimbal heavy projects. The Ronin 4D, huh? Chris Flores, any suggestions on a zoom lens for filming B-roll? I use a Sigma 24-70, but again, something that isn't so clinical. I don't know, vintage zoom or some zoom lens you think looks great, or is a filter the move? I mean, you know, I guess you got in here late, but we were looking at that. What were we looking at, guys? We were looking at the, well, it's too late. We already saw it anyways, but before we were looking at the Laowa zoom, but I don't know if I would do that. I don't know. For documentary stuff, like I use autofocus zoom lens, the big huge servo zoom. That's for documentary stuff. I just, you know, I want to make my life easy, man. I was just shooting something yesterday. I had this sprained ass wrist, dude, and I slimmed down the FX6 as slim as I could get it, as small as I could get it, and put that 28 to 135 on there. And yeah, man, I mean, I got a sprained wrist. I was just tapping the lens. I'm like, you know, whatever I wanted it to jump to, I'm just tapping not the lens, the LCD screen. And yeah, you know, it's not sexy or anything, but you know, it's like whatever, dude, you know, it's like, just makes my life so much easier, you know? So in the documentary world, yeah, I'd always jump for an autofocus lens, but if you're just looking for something with a lot of cool character, I mean, honestly, the world is your oyster. There's so many cool lenses. I still think the Contact Zeiss 28 to 85 is like the coolest one. It's a pain in the ass to work with though. But this lens is amazing. I just love this lens so much. Yeah, I missed that one, but it's a push-pull. It's a push-pull, bro. It's going to make your life hell. Firecrest, wow. Well, yeah, dude. No, they're still in the game. And those super thins are no joke. Those are no joke. The super slims, I got the whole set, dude. I got the whole set. He said for Z8, he'd suggest the Suray. Ooh, any Arca Swiss case. All right, yeah. The Ronin 4D is good, but you should look at their new RS4 gimbal with LiDAR that reaches out to 30 plus feet for focus tracking and gesture start-stop. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people using the LiDAR stuff. I have not messed with it at all. For the gyro data, I shoot magnified a bit on monitor. That way I maintain the look and don't worry about crop too much since I shot that way. Damn. Oh, Mandru's in the house. Indonesia's in the house. What up, brother? What mic do you recommend for documentaries? I mean, I use this I use this same lens for everything. I know it's not great for these streams, but this is what I use for my FX6 and it's wonderful. And it's the Sennheiser MKH 416. I'll show you. It's been around for ages. I use this lens. I use this microphone for literally everything. Maybe one day I'll get like a Newman's for these streams or something, but that's if the streams really take off. But yeah, I don't know. I love this. This lives on my FX6 for documentary stuff. If you don't have like a camera like the FX6 with like its own I/O for audio, then I would recommend getting the Sound Devices Mix Pre 3. Which is another amazing mixer for smaller cameras. I used to use it, I'm using it right now even. The mic is plugged into this, and then I'm running audio out of the Sound Devices Mix Pre 3 into the A7C2. But you gotta think this is a stream, and OBS fucks with the stream and stuff. But this mixer, I mean, I'm literally using it right now. I use it all the time. And I started using this back in my Komodo days. These things are not cheap though, bro. This is more expensive than what I paid for the used one when it first came out. In 2020. This is insane. I paid like half this for a brand not a used one, for a refurbished one when it first came out. And this thing is, wow, this thing has gone up in price actually. Yeah, but these are great. These are great little tools to have. Yo, Ron Coy, push pull. What do you mean push pull, Stephen Teague? You talking about film? You talking about film? I think Condor Blue has a new Firecrest filter on their website now. Condor Blue? No, dude. Why would they be fucking with Firecrest? That's crazy to me. Don't tell me that. I think you're confused, bro. Condor Blue don't work with Firecrest, do they? Are you trying to make a joke, bro? You trying to get me heated up, bro? Are you trying to get me heated up right now? Yeah, not a chance in hell. Not a chance. No. You're talking about that right there? Go back? Where was that? Look at all the companies that they work with. Oh my God, this is disgusting. Let me see. Where was that thing at? Where'd it go? That definitely wasn't Firecrest though, dude. That was not Firecrest. That was, that's their own proprietary thing, man. I can guarantee it. Let's see if it pops up. Nikon Z6 Mark II. These things, damn, you're right. It is Firecrest. Firecrest multi-coated. Why did they put this stupid... Look, it's because they're making proprietary... This is so disheartening, man. They got Firecrest in their pocket now too, dude. Unfucking believable, dude. This is crazy to me. This is all proprietary shit too. Putting this crazy like frame around it. Look at these yahoos. Oh my God, dude. That breaks my heart, man. That breaks my heart that that's a thing. I cannot believe you just showed me that, bro. God damn it. Oh my God. The LiDAR stuff I stay away from personally. It's often way more of a headache than it is helpful to your workflow. Yeah, that's what I feel like too. That's how I feel. Yeah, push-pull. Justin is 85, guys. He just looks young. Yeah, you didn't know that? I got the Benjamin Button disease. I just bought the 416 today. It's 50 years old now. It is? Holy shit, I didn't know that. It's the RS4 Mini with tracking module, and they'll make it available into other gimbals. Oh, yeah. That's nuts. At least it's 32-bit. Yeah, dude. You said the Contax lens is push-pull and a pain. Yeah, 100%. It's a push-pull lens, which is a big bummer. Where did it go? Yeah, this one. Because this is a beautiful lens. Such a beautiful, gorgeous lens. Look, if you don't... Yeah, I see push-pull. If you don't want push-pull, though, just get the smaller one, dude. Just get the classic, dude. 35 to 70. I guess it'd be okay if I put in the rest. Get this one. Get the 35 to 70 Contax. This one's nice. Everyone loves this lens. Everyone loves this lens. Yeah, this is an awesome lens, too. With a little macro mode, even. Check that out. Yeah. Cheap, too. $325. Damn, bro. Yeah, he's using Mix 3 Pre Mark II, but looking for the mic. Yeah, I don't know. I use MKH416. I mean, I've always used it. Any phasing issues with the long interference tube? Your audio doesn't seem to have it. Well, there's noise cancellation right now. Dude, I'm not an audio person. I couldn't... The reason why I like it is because it makes my voice a little deeper, which I prefer because, like, my voice is... other microphones I've used make my voice even higher in the treble, and I just like hate it because in real life my voice doesn't sound that tinny, but there are a lot of microphones I've used since the beginning of being on YouTube that make my voice sound crazy. And then someone suggested for me to try out the Sennheiser, the MKH416, and so I did, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot more bass to it. Like I just like it. I just much prefer it than any other. And maybe it's because I was using the lav mics for a long time, and maybe that's why. But I've had shotgun mics that don't have that kind of bass to it. So that's why I prefer it. It is very specific to me. But I know in my documentary world, like when it's on, and this may be more because of the FX6, I don't know, but when it's on the FX6, like the audio is so good. Sometimes it's almost as if they were wearing a lav. Like it was like crazy. Like if you go and watch, I'll give you an idea. So you probably didn't see this video. So I put this video up right here. This, he escaped on a horse, LA wildfire survivors eating fire in Altadena. That whole thing was just shot, like jumped out of the car, shot an interview with these people with my FX6 and the Sennheiser MKH416. And yeah, just go check out the audio of that. And I mean, it's pretty surprising because some of those shots, I'm really far away from these guys, like pretty far away, like in the next row of the parking lot. And for some of the shots, because I was trying to like get some more like interesting shots while I was filming the interview. And the audio I thought was like super clean, especially considering like the sky is on fire, you know what I mean? And like the parking lot is full of people, like people camping out, and you know what I mean? Like, so just go check it out if you want to get an audio sample of it, like in documentary world. Yeah, I thought it was really good. But also that's not indoors. So I guess that doesn't answer your question. But I mean, if you watch any of my, YouTube videos, I mean, the majority of them, I'm using this microphone. Oh, I'm using this microphone as my boom mic, usually. You know, especially if if it's like this lighting one, like my latest one on the GVM light, this one at the top here, like if like that one, that I'm in the garage with the boom mic over me, which is the Sennheiser. So yeah, there's plenty of samples of me using it. To control the zoom, you push and pull the barrel of the lens. Oh, he was asking what I meant by push-pull. Yeah, thank you, Josh, for clarifying that. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if you don't know anything about that, the push-pull, yeah, exactly right. It's a pain in the ass. So, like, if I go back and I show, like, look at that. So, like, you see, like, all of this area with these numbers, the part with the grip comes down and covers all of that. It's just, it's just a pain in the ass. I mean, fine if you're doing photography, right? Because that was like the point of it, to keep it more compact. But, you know, when you're doing video, you know, say goodbye to using a follow focus gear with that thing, you know? Because depending on what focal length you want to do, that's where you got to push or pull it to. You know what I'm saying? So when it's pulled all the way out, it's a 28 mil. But, you know, if you want an 85, then you got to push it all the way in. But if you only need like a 40 mil, well, then you only push it halfway. It's weird, man. It's weird. And these lenses are really bad for using filters on the front of them too, because the whole lens barrel spins. It's just a bummer, because this lens is one of the most beautiful lenses I've ever used in my entire time of shooting lenses, which isn't that long, but still, I still think about this lens. You know, it's like a crazy lens. Yahoo! So yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll roast Condor Blue any day of the week, bro. The Zeiss 35 to 70 is a push pull too. It is. You've used it? You know for sure that it is, Robert? Damn. He might be right. I didn't know this was a push-pull. Well, if that's the case, dude, if that's the case, then don't even... Oh, sorry. Don't even waste your time then. Just get the... Because Leica also makes one. But you gotta make sure you don't get the Minolta one. And the majority of these are gonna be the Minolta one. And the Minolta one is not good, my friend. And I'll be able, here's how you can tell. See how there's this huge gap in the middle of it? That's the Minolta one. You don't want that one. You got to get the newer one. And I'm almost positive the Leica one is not a push-pull. But you have to get the real Leica one. This looks like a real one. This looks like a real one. Yeah, E60. Man, I don't know, though. It looks like it still has it. But I think the E60 is the one that, let me see, hold on. Because it's a different filter. Yeah, you see how this one doesn't have the filter on it? Like it doesn't say what size filter? I think that's how you can tell it's the Minolta one. Oh, wait. It has it on the side though. Man, I'm telling you, and the reason why this is hard, because they literally made 3 different versions of this lens. There's literally 3 different versions. So the very first one was like a straight Minolta ripoff. Oh, do you see all the fungus in this? Go back. Look at all that. Hardcore amoebas, dude. Holy shit, it's The Last of Us. Oh, which I forgot. It's The Last of Us. Guys. Okay, I went on way too long, and we have to watch The Last of Us. We'll finish up here, but yeah. Look for the 3rd generation of this one, and if it has the gap, then you know it's the Minolta, and it's the one not to have. Let me see. I just want to get caught up here and say, make sure we get all the questions out of the way. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Condors. Look, if you want a good cage, buy 8-Sin. Jesus, you know, give Small Rig your money first. Oh, man. Let's see. I like Condor Blue stuff, but I get, yeah. Tascam FR AV2 is a new recorder that's probably really good for mirrorless bodies. We'll have to check that one out. Any thoughts on building a DIY production cart? Yeah, so we'll do that and we'll wrap this up. So this is super easy to do. You know rock and rollers? I'm sure you know rock and rollers. I even had a weird little one like this. So this is what you can do with these. Look, you can even do full DIY with these too. Yeah, I know. He was charging way too much for that lens. So you can you can search their website. These guys make trays that go across the top. They make carpeted bottoms on the bottom. They also have a thing that you can put on the handle. That's like it's basically just the lid of a bucket inside of a big canvas bag that's sewn for this, but then all these pockets, then you can store tons of stuff on the sides. You can build the little shelves. Yeah, I mean, you can go ham making DIY cart out of these. And these are, you know, I still see these around, but you know something better than that? I'll show you something my AC did. So there's these Rubbermaid carts. And what they do with these, they get one of these. And by the way, you can get these at Harbor Freight for even cheaper, right? And you can get bigger casters at Harbor Freight as well. You get one of these, you put carpet in the top and bottom, and then you put bigger casters on this. Not hard to do. They're just held on with screws. They're just Rubbermaid, right? The trick is just make sure that you drill the hole before you start drilling the screw in there. But just put big honking wheels on it. And this is what my AC does. Shout out to Jimmy Grove. It's badass, you know? And that's very standard thing too. You'll see a lot of people doing that with the Rubbermaids. That audio quality is fucking insane, bro. What the hell? Yeah, you like it, Trevor? It's not bad, right? Like the audio is good. That's what I mean. Like this mic is it just works. It's really nice. I think you're thinking of the F4 version of the Leica R. Is that right, Josh? The F4 version. Let's see. We'll just check it out real quick because now I have to know. Wait, where did it go? Where'd my list go? Oh my God, we're getting... Yeah. Maybe he's right. That's how you know it's the newer one, huh? It's the F4. Look, they don't even have it on here, dude. Oh, here it is. Oh, this is like the super new one, right? Like this one they made right when they stopped making the Leica R. Because look, you can even get EXIF data on this one. Yeah, well, this would be a surefire way. Then you would know you got a nice one. Honestly, if you had the dough, this might be the one to go, dude. I mean, I bet you this lens is amazing, and it's macro. And it's not like super new. They're like, this is still from the 90s, you know, so it's still pretty cool, you know. Yeah, thanks for that, Josh. You're probably right about that. Push pulls are dust vacuums. 100% dust vacuums. 100%. That's another reason why they kind of suck. There's a company that makes tabletops for the rock and rollers. 100%. Yo, still brazy. Happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter to you, brother. The only lens that you should be concerned about is a Nikon 58 1.2 Nox now that it's a lens that cannot be touched. Yeah, but like, yeah, right. So you're talking about like, isn't it like $5 grand or something? Dude, no way, bro. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's still very expensive, but it's a little cheaper than what I thought it was going to be, honestly. I mean, this one, but who knows? It might, I mean, look, they got it on a glass chalice, a glass and gold chalice. Oh, man. Yeah, but, you know, you could get the Minolta. You get the Minolta and be pretty much the same place. They also make a 58 1.2, in case you didn't know. Or, you know, I got this... I got this light lens lab right here. Let's see. Let me switch to main webcam so we can see what we're working with. There's my ugly mug. Here we go. Check this out. This is a 50 mil 1.2, and I don't know. It's pretty cool. I traded 2 lenses for this lens. So guys, they did not send this to me. Okay. I traded 2, and this is crazy. I traded my Leica 21 mil. I know, that was so dumb. My Leica 21 mil and a Leica 90 mil for this light lens lab 51.2. Why would I do that? Dude, look at it. It's actually a really good... Guys, this company, I hated them at first, and I even talked trash about this company at first, but they have gone leaps and bounds to what they call making an homage to Leica. You know, that's up for debate. You know, it's like, is it a copy or is it an homage? And that's something we've talked about before. But honestly, I absolutely love this lens. I really do. I used it on film for the first time, and that video comes out tomorrow morning. Probably nobody will watch it because it's just me walking around doing street. But it's a fun video. I have my shout out to my buddy Daniel. He filmed it for me, and I hope you guys check it out sometime this week. It'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, it's my first time using it on film, and that was crazy. And a lot of the film was kind of was duds, but you know me, I don't care. I showed it anyway, so it'll be out there. But it's because I was shooting when it was like dusk pretty much, and I'm shooting film. It was crazy. It was crazy. Anyways, yeah, dude. Yeah, I got you. I mean, if you're balling like that, happy Easter, bro. he's getting lenses. Oh, we got to go back to it. Right there it is. He's getting lenses that are sold on gold and glass chalices. You own one? He is balling. It is happy Easter for Still Brazy if he owns one of those. That's insane, dude. All right. Get Minolta. It's only 400. That's what I'm saying. Light lens is a real sleeper. Yeah, they really are. Light lens are sleepers. Yeah, but just for price comparison, before we go, let's see how much the Minolta 58 1.2 is. Be way cheaper than that Nikon. Look at that, 300. I don't think I would get this one though. I had this. So I had two different versions. I had the original, this old boy here, and then I ended up getting this one. And this one was better. I did prefer the X version versus the old MC version. This one had some really weird old coloring to it, but these are the ones that had, you know, the weird earth elements. Like this one definitely was yellow. I had to de-yellow this lens when I had it. But yeah, you could save way more money, you know, if you just wanted the 1.2. And honestly, in my opinion, I think it's cooler than the Nikon. I don't know how that Nikon, I think the fact when they started using that Nikon on the movies is when that one just blew up. It just blew up. Yeah, dude. Can you check out the Tascam? The Tascam? The Tascam that you were talking about? The FRAV2? You want me to look it up? All right. We'll check this out real quick and then we'll... Tascam, well, what the hell was it called? You guys are gonna have to tell me now. Oh, there it is. You're talking about this thing? Oh, this thing. Okay, it's like a baby version of what I have, I guess. It's got two XLR inputs. You know, Tascam is, look, I have Tascam stuff. I've owned lots of Tascam stuff in the past. I currently own their little lavalier mics. You know, their stuff is okay, but in my experience, the quality control is kind of hit or miss, you know? Like the Lav that I have, the headphone output just came broken, you know, and I bought it brand new, like when they had their first rollout with B&H. I mean, that headphone port has never worked properly, you know, and it's just like, I feel like that's like a going trend with them in my experience of like all their products is like, it's just a little... There's something lacking there in the build quality for me personally, you know. Whereas this sound device this thing is nuts. Like I've dropped the sound devices I don't know how many times, not like physically dropped it on the ground, but you know, I mean, you guys watch enough of me to know probably by now that I'm not exactly the most delicate human being in the world. You know what I mean? So you know, the gear gets put through its paces, you know. And I have never had any issues with this thing. I just absolutely love it. I love it. And I also love the way that I can just bolt it directly to the bottom of my camera. Like that's what that's there for. And it's to the point where in the back of the system, they even include an Allen wrench. So when you pop, like right there, when you pop open the back of it, there's an Allen wrench in there. It's held on by a magnet. So then what you do, you flip it. So that's the top part where the 1/4-20 bolt comes out and screws into the bottom of your base plate or whatever you're using. And then in the bottom, that's the hole where you stick the Allen wrench to get the 1/4-20 to pop up. So when you're not using it, the 1/4-20 just slides down and lives inside the thing. It's just an amazing, like, that's what I love. That's what I mean. Like, I love smart designs, you know? And I mean, my wife can tell you, I complain all the time about things that have bad designs. And this is one item I can honestly tell you without, you know, the fact, like, this is not an ad. I paid, like, I don't know, I think I paid $600 for mine. And I have never once said this is a horrible design about this item, which is really good for someone like me, because I love to say when things have a horrible design. I just do, because a lot of stuff, in my opinion, does have a horrible design, where this thing just was so smartly built. So now they owe me money for making that commercial for them. But yeah, that's what I will say about the sound devices. Yeah, dude, I know. Oh, yeah, so Chris wants to know, So Chris wants to know what's the deal with the Zeiss name. So, guys, the planar, the distagon, all the stuff they put on the front of the lens, all that is, like, that's like nomenclature for focal lengths, basically, right? So vario sonar, vario meaning variable, right? Because it's a zoom, it's multiple focal lengths. So it's technically a multiple sonar lens. And sonar is what they used to give to their, like, longer lenses, you know? And whereas distagons was what they used for, you know, that's the name for their wider focal lengths, like 35 and under, normally you'll see have distagon on them. Planar is one that they used to give to their even longer focal lengths. It was one or the other. Like planar and sonar kind of live on the longer. It's just names they give their lenses, you know, like how Leica calls their f2s the Summicrons, you know. So whereas Zeiss labels their lenses by focal length, where Leica labels them by f-stop, right? So it's opposite with Leica. So like the Summicrons is all f2, L-Merits are all f2.8, right? L-Mars are all f4. It's just different ways that these German folks like to name their lenses, or dare I say, name the categories of the lenses. Yeah, you'll let me try out the 58 still brazy. Okay, dude. Let me know. Let me know when you're in LA, dude. We'll meet up. I'll try it out. We'll make a video about it. Another sleeper is a Voltlander. Yeah, Voltlander's lenses are insane. I love all their lenses. Chris highly recommends the Tascam. Says it has timecode input. Sounds great. I'm happy. I didn't have to buy an FX6 just for the timecode port. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Tascam can be camera mounted, but so can the sound devices, the way I just showed you. Yeah, oh, that's true too. Yeah, that's really why they're there. They tell you the name of the Zeiss lenses tells you how many lens groups there are. Right, and that's how they got to the names of the lenses, 100%. So you can mix and match lens names and still have a complete kit? Yeah, you would have to. You would have to. If you only had a set of Zeiss Distagons, that would mean you don't have anything narrower than like 35 would be the longest lens in your kit, you know, because all the Distagons are their wide angle lenses. Yeah, you would have to mix it up. What you're looking for with the Zeiss is MMJ, MMG versus, you know, AEG, AEJ. That's what you're looking in the world of Zeiss. But even then, don't worry about it. Like I wouldn't get caught up in it. Just know, like, if the Zeiss lens is an AEG, then it's gonna have the Ninja Star bokeh, right? So that's why a lot of people went for the MMJs. But guys, you're gonna have to do your own research on that. You know, like there's the Red User Internet Forum. That's where you want to go to study up. There's literally like the Zeiss Contacts Bible or whatever it's called. I mean, it's all on there on the Red User Forum. You'll have to go check it out. Yeah. The beta Zeiss for Sony's are sleepers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're okay. Still brazy. He's in LA. Yeah. I've been debating on for a video idea if I want to get the 35 f2, what is it, like Aloxia from the A7C2, and try to see, like, can this replicate the infamous RX1R2, because I had that camera for a long time. Yeah, you just found a Mix Pre 3 Mark II for $689. Yeah, get it, bro. Get it, because they went way up in price. Yeah, dude. Might get it if it's still there in a week. Dude, it's not going to be there in a week. It's going to be gone. Did you see what it is? Brand new? I don't know. It might be there in a week, but if it is, you'd be lucky, and then you'd have to get it. What would be better if you can offer him like a little lower and get it now, you know, like offer him like $600, see if he's hurting, you know? The 40mm Betis. Yeah, I know, but I specifically wanted the Zeiss Loxia because it's a 35 f2, and that's exactly what the Zeiss lens on the RX1R2 is. So that's the main reason I was going to get this, because this is really the only way, like the true competitor for the RX1R2 would be this lens on probably, honestly, the A7CR, and then you could really do that. Yeah, dude. All right, guys. So we got, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for stopping in. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. All right. That helps people find it that we're